Alrighty, guys, we are back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have Joe Budden speaks on Drake petitioning UMG over Kendrick's Not Like Us. Shout out to Alpha Media Room for the video, and obviously this has definitely sparked a lot of conversation in the industry and the culture alike. And what is probably one of the most un-hip-hop moves you could actually do, sue somebody over a diss in a beef that you were an active participant in. It honestly does seem like a very desperate move to go and try to catch some type of W in a year that's definitely been filled with a whole bunch of L's, just like that XQC chat that I'm pretty sure he'll probably be getting flashbacks about for a very long time, which kind of explains some of his body language during that stream. But this is definitely one of the most un-hip-hop things you can do. Very Karen-like behavior, very CB4, or for him, CB6, because like you said, the Sixers are out. As of right now, these filings are just trying to probe into Universal to actually see if Drake and his attorneys actually file an actual lawsuit. But right now, Drake's attorneys are basically alleging that Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us record, which was definitely a huge moment in culture, was actually pumped up artificially using payola, bots, and other methods. And obviously with Drake doing this, it was a matter of time before Joe Budden sat on that couch and kicked Drake's back in. So enough dilly-dallying, and let's jump right into the video. Again, it's entitled Joe Budden Speaks on Drake Petitioning UMG over Kendrick's Not Like Us. And also Dennis Graham, Drake's pops, responded. So yeah, man, we're definitely going to cover that in the end as well.
2% of artists that could even have the thought. Stop with this shit.
No, but that's his point. His point is the rank and file artist is getting fucked because they keep crowning one person who takes all the energy out the room. If we stop that process, now Joe Schmo can get a chance. That's his whole point. Is that
and that's honestly really how it is. Most of the resources really do get diverted to like the top few artists at the label, because those are generally the artists that are pretty much floating the whole label. I mean, look at it this way. If one of those artists flops, it can lead to massive layoffs. And honestly, if you are one of their mid-tier acts or lower-tier acts, it's honestly more beneficial to probably try to go the grassroots way, especially now that we have the internet and you could potentially grow organically and go viral organically, and honestly expect those other artists to kind of get hot on their own before they even like give them a bigger budget, which honestly cements the idea that I have that, yeah, man, at this point in time, it's probably more beneficial for you to stay independent than stay locked down in one of these 360 deals that last 5, 6, 7 albums. Because there's some monstrous deals out there. So it's really hard to get any of those resources without any leverage at that label, you know? Which usually comes in you having a hit and having some type of success and exposure.
But he never gave a fuck about that beforehand.
No. It's totally disingenuous. It's totally disingenuous.
And it's cap.
Of course.
And it's cap.
But I'm saying, but that's his argument, is that this can
Joe
now help
Schmo
everybody.
has a chance because Joe Schmo did what he didn't, which is, I'm independent. I'm not going to just voluntarily relinquish my rights because
Exactly.
cars and front row seats in front of me.
The thing is, there's artists that don't want to do any of that legwork. They want to have a team literally tell them what to do at all times. So while that may work if you're successful and have major records out there, if you ever do fall off or if you ever lose that structure, it's going to be really hard for you to make it out on your own. It does take a certain type of mindset that is going to go independent. I've been signed for a few years now, but I definitely recommend staying independent for as long as you can until you can leverage the kind of deal that you can get. And honestly, at that point, it might not make any sense for you to do that, other than if the fact you want to benefit from having some of those relationships people have as a label. But times are changing, guys. These labels are all downsizing. They're all going tech. It's almost like music is becoming their secondary priority and honestly changed their whole business model altogether.
Schmo has a chance already. That's why he lost the leverage. He was supposed to be the leader of the new school. Shout out to Busta Rhymes. He was supposed to be the person to, on a much smaller level again, not to talk about me. When I go in these places,
he's so humble.
There is no threat that Joe Budden can cause the people that I'm talking to. Not a one.
Nah, the thing is, he has a major voice. So while they might not respect him, they still understand how powerful a voice that Joe does have in the hip-hop space. Obviously, when he says something, we all watch. So yeah, man, they understand the power that he has. They just don't respect him.
Me, like
you can't
by
deny
myself,
it,
like
his
in
voice.
all of my powers. They don't give a fuck about nothing I'm talking about until I say, you know the whole wave of fucking creators out there listen to me and follow me.
Exactly.
I got proof, but like you can't, when I say something or do something, there's millions of people that's watching me and is about to try and emulate the same thing. That's the only time to get scared. There's nothing that you can do yourself. So Drake was supposed to be the leader of that and say, I have hundreds and millions of people that's going to do and go as I say when that was at its peak. Who cares now?
Exactly. The thing is, this business is what have you done for me lately? If you're not useful, you're useless. And at the end of the day, yeah, at that time, he could go in that office and demand whatever he wanted, even if the label didn't necessarily want to give it to him. At the end of the day, they knew that Drake knew that they needed Drake at the time anyway. And right now, things have definitely made a complete 180. While his back catalog is obviously still doing amazing numbers because it is plastered on all these playlists, the new stuff is definitely not hitting. So right now, they're definitely rethinking their game plan going into the future. And honestly, if he was going around and throwing his weight and kind of forcing them to concede to his demands, that's definitely something that would build a ton of resentment. And honestly, this is probably in any industry. As soon as you're not popping, fam, they're going to kick your back in and throw you to the curb, fam.
You know what? And he might have went in there and said that and said, being that I got this, I want $400 million.
Well,
at that
he was
time,
due to $400 million based off his own.
I'm just saying that at that point,
based off
that
his
might
own
have been what
name.
I'm fighting for. And now I learned more, and it's shit.
Then he sold everybody short.
Or no.
Then he sold everybody short.
Yo, y'all know I got the ear of. Yo, bro,
You've had that ear for a very long time, man. But this past year, you've released a whole lot of duds. For the first time in your career, you're putting out records that have more dislikes than likes. And for Drake, that's obviously something he's never experienced. And I'm pretty sure that would cause anyone to have an identity crisis. Somebody that did feel like they were untouchable. Like listening to his music, he definitely gave that vibe that he felt like he was untouchable. And fam, no one is untouchable. They call Al Capone, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, nobody's untouchable.
Diversity. We are keep missing that. He might not have ever had to have that stance.
Now, before I keep it playing, just remember, Drake never grew up with no plight, no strife, none of that. So when it comes to losing...
Yeah, while he wasn't mega rich, while he wasn't probably even rich, the dude definitely never missed a meal. TV child stars do not make a lot of money. They're pretty much capped at a certain pay rate. And honestly, if they reach over 6 figures, that's kind of rare. But it's still a fact that his family was definitely very connected. And honestly, his family early on definitely financed a lot of these dreams because pursuing rap full-time is definitely expensive. These features are expensive, fam. Someone's going to have to be footing that bill, especially if you don't have the clout that will merit like a trade or something like that.
Like this, he never faced this type of adversity ever. He grew up with not a
Very
silver
true.
spoon, a gold spoon. His uncle paid for Trey Songz's feature. His grandmother paid for everything in his career.
Exactly.
He never started from the bottom ever. Like literally ever. The person that's listening to this video most likely had a way more struggle than Drake. Even if you grew up with two parents and a golden spoon in your mouth, you still had more struggle because you probably felt hungry for 2 seconds, then went to go make something to eat. Those 2 seconds, Drake never felt those 2 seconds. Let me know what y'all think. Let's keep going. Let's go back.
With the labels before. He may have never had to have that stance. When you go home after getting the door shut in your face, now you go home and ponder on how to get around.
Of course, I'm pretty sure getting laughed out of the very room that you used to make these demands and they would concede within minutes. I'm pretty sure it comes to a shock that they don't see you the same way. But sometimes you're the last person to realize that you've fallen off. I feel like right now he's definitely struggling with that fact, and he is just trying to catch any type of W. And trying to tackle on the entertainment industry is usually something that people really don't fare very well at. But yeah, man, you got to be very careful because there's tons of examples of people trying to take down an industry just to like take themselves down inadvertently. Right now you're trying to expose somebody else, but it would be very easy for them to dig up some stuff on you. So you have to be really, really careful right now. Right now there really isn't any official lawsuit, but the fact that you're probing around, I wouldn't be surprised if some major skeletons come out of the closet soon.
Around the door, or your brain goes to plan
this
B
could be the
mode.
first door.
Well,
This might be his first plan B chance
well, maybe instead of running around.
Man, if trying to tackle like Universal is your plan B, man, I'd hate to see what plan C is. That's how you know you've never had to have a plan B. If your first plan B is to basically try to take down the music industry. At this point, Drake should really fire his team and hire a completely new team because right now they're advising him in the totally wrong direction. And right now he's trying to threaten like corporations that have taken out their fair share of people, allegedly, man. And while you following these petitions could just be a way of you trying to get out of your deal or trying to take some of the steam out of Kendrick, you might just doing more harm than good if they decide to actually throw you under the bus and let the people know some of the things you've done.
And buying Pusha T's first microphone and Pharrell's
Pox
chain.
ring.
Michael Jackson looked Paul McCartney in the face and said, "How much is your publishing?" What the f?
That's not the full story. Paul McCartney was basically giving Mike like advice on how to invest. And he said, hey man, get into publishing. Little did he know he would be buying the Beatles publishing.
fuck are you niggas talking
He
about?
said that too. If your
And
pub
like
was up and sell out by the
60%
whole
of what
thing.
Sony eventually merged.
He got to that point.
I know, on a record.
He got to that point.
I know, on a record. What he did in real life was go buy a van that looked like it was on Good Kid, Mad City. If you at the big boy poker table now. You know how you walking into the wind, when you walking down that little hallway in the wind with the coffee shop and the bars on the corner, to the left is little slot machines. To the right, you can see him if the shit ain't closed. You can see him, is the big boys.
The high roller
Are we
room.
complicit?
You need
That's where the high stakes table was at.
5 million plus, 10 million plus to be allowed over here. So again, negligence, naivete on his part, because if you're aware of your opponents, then yeah, I'm trying to go buy Futures Publishing. I'm trying to go buy 21 Savage's publishing. I'm trying to go
That's
buy
facts.
something that makes my conversation when I
Well, that's true power. Honestly, I agree. That would be the biggest flex if you were to say, hey, I own all your masters. Drake just underestimated his opponent and honestly paid dearly, because it definitely seems like he will never recover. Pulling this move is almost like that of a person that has basically given up and is just trying to get some type of payday before they go buy a mansion in Turks and Caicos and live the rest of their lives in solitude.
walk in this office with Lucien or whoever, go a little bit different. They don't care about nothing that he built his house on, which is, I got all the hits, I got the number ones, I have the run, my album. Yo,
You had
we made that. And your best music, we gonna run that up. Go make your mid. Go make.
They could literally cut him loose and still make tons of money off of Drake and his catalog. And obviously the numbers this year only prove it further. The dude has been flopping left and right, and really where he's making his bank is that old catalog. But yeah, man, right now you really have no leverage. You have nothing that you could use to bargain with. You almost have to focus on what you're actually paid to do, rap, and try to make some type of hit, try to garner some of that power back. But you doing all this moves is just creating the nastiest like public perception of you right now. And I feel like every day it's getting worse, fam.
Make your mid. We gonna put all them albums that we own, your fire shit, that same little algorithm trick you think we doing, we still doing it.
Deluxe.
Yeah,
5-year
yeah,
anniversary.
we
10-year
For
anniversary.
real.
Have a
20-year
blast
anniversary.
with whatever Honestly Nevermind did. Have fun with that. The label must ain't been too thrilled because that shit came and went too. At some
facts.
point, you gotta have something that stay, and they not gonna let nothing stay. What do you think is gonna happen with the Drake Party Next Door album now that he's got these suits out?
Fam, you're not getting no budget to promote. Look what happened to Post Malone when he said he wanted off the label. They didn't put anything into promotion, and it did substantially worse than any of his other projects. People don't realize how much having the big machine behind you really, really helps, even when you are a megastar. So right now, you did yourself a huge disservice by filing these legal actions right before you drop any projects, fam.
Brick. Cricket.
That's what I mean
Now,
about
it won't be a brick. It won't be crickets, but it will be substantially less than what he's accustomed to. But I don't expect him to go double plastic yet, anyway.
him. That's what I mean about him.
That he
Party
doesn't-
somewhere thinking that this is the best opportunity that ever happened to me. Wow, thank God this is happening. Nigga, that should have happened in 2014 right after, if you reading this, it's too late. Right after that, that's when that should have happened. Now, it's too late. And you only doing it, again, for your selfish, greedy fucking reasons. That ain't about to help him. That's about to hurt him.
Facts. I mean, look at every other feature that Drake has been attached to. The Camila Cabello project had 2 records with Drake. And anytime she would post anything about that album, because Drake was the biggest feature, people would literally tear into her. And these were her diehard fans. They'd be like, we love you, Camila, but why do you have this PDF there? Or comments like, she's not like us anymore. You know what I mean? You have to be really careful when you're associating yourself with him. Party Next Door dropped a very fire project earlier this year. But this project, I don't know if it's going to help him because of the attachment to Drake. But it definitely is a fact that threatening your label, it's not going to help you when it comes to promoting this project or any other project you want to drop.
Now it's about to get to a point, anybody that stand with Drake, the high ups is just looking. Stand there if you want. It's over. They sending a clear-cut message. Yo, it's over. And Drake knows it, so I'm not arguing with nobody now. These suits say he knows what time it is.
They've moved on.
Yeah.
So he's just going out snitching, basically.
Over the past several months, Drake has repeatedly sought to
That's what it
engage
looks
UMG in discussions to resolve the ongoing harm he has suffered as a result of UMG's actions. They have refused to engage in negotiations and insisted that UMG is not responsible for its own actions. Instead, they pointed the finger at Mr. Duckworth, a.k.a. Kendrick, insisted that Drake should initiate legal action against him rather than UMG, and even threatened to bring its own legal claims against.
That goes to show you how much these labels really care about you too, because they're literally trying to pass it off to the artists that they allegedly, according to Drake, were actually the ones behind this artificial pumping of the record, which is kind of ludicrous because, like I said, most of these major acts are all benefiting from these tactics. This guy's trying to get one big last bag before he moves to Turks and retires.
Mr. Duckworth, if Drake were to pursue claims against UMG.
Newsflash, that's what he wanted to do anyway, but he can't.
You can't do that.
But if y'all think the Karen in him
Exactly.
don't want to sue Kendrick himself,
He went up to the building to speak to the manager and they turned him away, man. He's very salty.
But isn't that the purpose of this?
directly, then I don't know what game you're looking at.
If he had sued,
I don't care if they said, hey, go sue him. Guess what? That's jargon to you now. For me, that says even they lying to you different than they normally would. Go. They're not going to jump on that suit if Drake sues Kendrick. They've anointed Kendrick. You are going to take us to the next stratosphere. We're not jeopardizing that. It's the field versus you. It's over for you. They're just saying.
Yeah, it's very telling that no one came to defend him. It's because of all the things he's been doing throughout the years, man. But one can only wonder why he feels so surprised that the industry has turned their back on him, given the fact that he's been doing all these things. But it's plain to see that they've moved on. Like I said, these guys are in the business of making money, and right now your reputation is on the floor. Years ago, you could pick him over the field. Times have changed, fam.
It's over for you.
if it's the thing for me is when it's over for you, you can go out a couple ways. You can just fade into black. You can just
he's
have a
crashing
career,
out.
or
You can go out in a blaze of fucking
Spiraling.
glory.
Exactly, which
Or
is
you
what
could do
which
duck
this
lips
might
and
be.
go grab barrettes and do a bunch of funny hairstyles and fucking be seen with the white boy. I don't want to hear all of this shit. The nigga looks stupid now.
Does this lawsuit? Because from what I could hear in social media and in other media circles, people aren't making a distinction between him suing Kendrick and him suing the record label. People are like, yo, he's suing Kendrick. He's going out like a
No,
sucker.
Kendrick is not involved.
Because you a bitch
His
no
name's
matter
not.
what.
Kendrick is not named in the suit, but the fact that it's over the Not Like Us record is honestly what's putting him in the conversation.
Not listed
No,
in
I
the
know, but I'm
suit,
saying
yeah.
people are hearing it like all the jokes,
Yeah.
all the stuff
Yeah.
is still like he's suing Kendrick.
Yeah.
Well, stopped it.
Right? Does this ruin his? I mean,
Yes.
what does this do for his
Yes.
legacy?
This
Yes.
This
Hurts
hurts.
it
Yes.
badly.
No matter how you look at it, this
Yes.
hurts.
This is the biggest L I've ever
But-
seen in fucking history.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what
yeah.
I'm saying. This is pretty bad.
Like
But look,
athletic
on the-
history, like this is worse than Atlanta.
Imagine Jay-Z suing Nas. Like, Jay-Z would probably not be where Jay-Z is at right now if that were to have happened. If people were on this type of timing back in the day, Ice Cube would have been sued for no Vaseline, and plenty of others would have been sued for the same type of thing. So it's definitely some nasty, nasty work, especially in a genre like hip-hop. And if it potentially does win, which I don't think it is, like I said earlier, gonna embolden a lot of other people to go and file these same type of suits, man.
On the flip side of
Patriots.
that,
But wait,
being called a pedophile hurt my fucking legacy. So
Oh,
I gotta fight it.
1000%.
See, I even think that's a scapegoat. I think that's
Yo,
something.
y'all are
You
crazy.
do gotta
as hell.
fight
No.
Like I've said before, narratives don't even have to be true for them to be effective. And honestly, if people already don't like you, it's not going to take too much for them to believe anything negatively said about you. But that stamp definitely affected his image.
I think it did, but being able to hang your hat on it as for it being the cause of
Right.
all of your shit going awry is cap.
I think it's delusion.
It's played a huge part,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
your missteps got us
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And this is
Your missteps are what got us here. I agree with that.
But he
niggas
Yeah.
on the internet talking about this is the biggest L since this bigger fall off than Ja Rule, which I think is a total slap in the face to Ja Rule. I think the audience owes Ja Rule an apology. Ja Rule was never doing this.
No, of course not. Imagine him suing 50. Honestly, he took his situation as well as probably anyone could have, especially with the fact that 50 will kick his back in anytime he gets a chance to.
No, he
Ja
took-
Rule was
he-
never
he
playing
took
this
his
game.
shit.
If you're saying that, you're not understanding the game that's being played. This fall off is monumental.
got
Odell ain't called
stabbed.
that nigga in years.
John,
That really is over now, that relationship. Odell is out. He got his ring. He's not talking to you anymore. And I feel Drake, yo. I feel Drake, yo.
How you feeling, but then you kicking his back in?
No, I'm not kicking his back in. I'm telling the truth.
No, well, the truth is...
For 10 years on this podcast in February,
Come on,
I've
Flip.
had to sit here tight-lipped because everybody's stupid.
No,
I'm not doing that anymore.
But
I don't need YouTube. I don't need hot takes. I'm one of the few people that could look at this and just know what time it is. Play with them. Don't play with me. I feel Drake because he has fair and valid points in some of this shit, yo. I've showed up for too many of y'all. That DeMar DeRozan shit is still in effect. Yo, you was in my house. I talked you out of depression. Future, Thug, Weekend. Nigga, I found you on the fucking street, you piece of shit. He looking at niggas like...
And he did, but he also took advantage of a lot of them, which is why somebody like The Weeknd still doesn't rock with Drake. This footage of Drake acting really sideways towards The Weeknd, and obviously Weeknd still resents the fact that he had to give up a lot of his first project, and obviously that relationship was severed forever.
Like I look at Bleed. He done helped too many people.
Is he talking about Maul right there? The name that shall not be named?
So now he's watching Since Not Like Us or Bot Like Us, whatever you want to call it. Since that, I'm seeing the tides turn in ways from places that I never expected it to. And it's up for all of you. It's up for all of you. And I'm with that willfulness and that conviction and that determination. I'm with all of that. I just don't think that he wins it because of the timing of this. Because of the timing of this. But back to that whole facade about fucking, this. I just don't think that he wins it. Conviction up for all of you. It's up for all of you. And I'm with that willfulness and that conviction and that determination.
Of course, Joe is definitely the type of person that would crash out as well. So it's not strange that he would agree with him there.
I'm with all of that.
But it's how you do it, man. I
don't think that he wins it because of the timing of this. Because of the timing of this. But back to that whole facade about fucking, this is for the betterment of musicians everywhere. That's bullshit. Most musicians, even if they're at the top of their game, don't have enough money to do this with the people they need to do it to.
Of course, this is going to be a multi-million-dollar lawsuit if it ever does occur. So most of these artists are never going to be able to fight this fight. And at the end of the day, if he does potentially win something, he's not going to go and help out any of those lower guys anyway.
1. 2, even if they have enough money, they know that if they do that, their career is effectively over.
Oh, yeah.
So people are not rushing to do that. I applaud Drake because, to me, this move comes off as, for lack of a better term, like bomber.
Kamikaze, for sure.
Kamikaze.
Yes. In other words.
He must have said something supremely outrageous. But yeah, man, Drake right now is definitely pulling a very kamikaze-like move. And even that tweet that his manager posted up, that he's about to push the red button, conveys that very same thing. The dude is going to crash out, literally nuke everybody just to try to catch some type of W and probably cause the biggest L of his life.
Yeah, right there. Bleep that. I don't know if we can use. This is like the end of line. That's on that mission they went on.
Careful, man.
On that mission they went on, when George, the nigga was like, oh, no, boom, and it's over.
Yeah.
I think he know it's over.
It's a good ending, though.
Oh, man. Yo, they're killing the cliffhangers. They're killing the cliffhangers going into the next episode. But I think he knows it's over for him, and on the way out, I'm trying to take a few of y'all down with me, and hopefully the after effects of that could help somebody.
But it also gives him a better narrative. So now that he can say Kendrick didn't end my career. I went against the boss of all bosses for the people.
But Kendrick was definitely the catalyst to all this, because I don't think he goes and does this if he's in the same position that he was a year ago. I don't think he's ready to crash out if that's the case.
And they took me down, and that's why my career is over. I mean, that's a much better ending. Now you can go down as a martyr as opposed to a nigga that got bodied in a battle so bad.
That got treated unfairly.
Right.
Yeah,
it was the industry versus me.
But
right. It's not a bad
that's
ending.
Part of it, though.
If you're delusional.
It's not a bad ending if he's writing it and that's it. But
there's more to it.
He has to battle the optics of this in hip-hop. Yeah. And that is, you a bitch.
And I think that was a miscalculation. I think he
diss.
thought suing Universal, nobody would give a fuck. But the way that shit tried it out and played out, it looked like he's suing Kendrick.
But not his peers. I mean,
I think
the peers
works for him because
the peers,
again, you benefited from this. So it looks like just optic wise, like, hey man, I was all right when that was working for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now it's working against me,
wait,
and
hold
we
on.
have to destroy all of this shit. We can't be having this. This is now you want to get on your moral high horse.
Right.
But
That's
I'm with
where
you.
people.
Like I've said multiple times covering this, when you were the golden goose, man, you thoroughly enjoyed all the perks. So it's very, very hypocritical for you to come out and do this now and try to pass it off as some righteous act.
People looking
But
at it like that's fucked
Meek
up.
has came out and said, Meek has came out and
He's
said
so
some
in-
comments. I mean, people are commenting. I mean, I think it's only
What Meek say?
What are they saying?
Sorry.
Oh Lord.
No, did he say like Drake did the same thing against him?
No, Meek said that.
That's who got a case.
Because I think, see, that's what I think is
Yeah.
he
different.
got
said,
a case.
he
That's
said,
fine.
but
Meek does have
he
a
said,
case.
but Meek
Shout
be
out to Meek.
tripping. Yeah, all right, like that. That's what he said. But Meek be tripping.
Like,
yeah.
if you saying that
Right.
Drake,
Because he be saying the same shit.
if you saying Drake benefited from the labels pushing your album, that's different than saying that they push somebody's album against me.
Right.
Like Meek could say, yo, if that happened to Meek and they said, yo, when I was putting out shit against Drake, it was being suppressed, or that's something totally different than, yo, they put.
Meek did a lot of the damage to his reputation himself by releasing music that wasn't mixed properly and some of the antics on social media. He did a lot of damage himself, but it definitely did not help that Drake had that big machine behind him and that back-to-back record rang off for like a year. Like I said, man, if anyone has a case, it's definitely Meek.
Push my album to get album sales and to make me number one is a totally different ballgame.
What I'm saying is that I think only the fans and the people online, they are the one that's laughing at Drake. But the people that have experienced issues with labels, I think they may support him. It's just the fans and the people, the everyday people that oh nigga, you lost, not like us, da 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 da. But the people, like look what Meek said, and other people may support.
Meek also said, I went indie, and my last 2 show offers were in Finland and Portugal. Big festival shows, but nothing after. I sold out the Garden and went indie after Expensive Pain. The media made it look like I fell off terribly after. Expensive Pain is close to platinum. So basically what he's saying is, once I stopped playing the game,
They disappeared me.
It's not that, fam. You benefited from having the machine behind you as well. I think these people think that just because you have a name that people are going to still be checking for you. These labels are still the reason why you're having motion. Like I said, of course your career is going to take a hit when you go independent. Now you and the team you put around yourself are now in charge of getting you booked and making sure you're getting these opportunities. It becomes a lot more difficult because, like I said, these labels have some very long-standing relationships with these big podcasts, with these big playlists and stuff like that. So if you lose that, yeah, you're going to take a huge, huge hit. These labels are in it to make money. So if you're signed to them, they're going to make sure you're booked and have the best possible booking agent. So if you weren't able to make some of those relationships on your own away from them, it's going to be very, very difficult when you transition into independent and you don't have any of that stuff.
So you have to be willing to play a different game.
correct.
Right?
And everybody's
Like Drake should have known or been advised that, yeah, you may take a step back in terms of sales and branding and yada, yada, yada. But when you see that back end money from you hitting upload as a strictly independent, it will make up for it.
1,000%.
With a lot less of the ask.
If they
That's very true. I said it in my last reaction. You don't have to go platinum. You can literally sell 100K, 200K, and do amazing if you're independent because you're making a bulk of that money. Yes, you still have to pay your management. You still have to pay your booking agent and stuff like that, but you're making the biggest chunk of that pie. So while optically it may look like you have fallen off and you're doing way less numbers, you may be doing even better financially than you were doing previously. So going independent could definitely be very, very lucrative, but it also entails you having to wear many hats or putting people around you that can wear those hats and do their job great, because now it falls on you guys to make sure you're booked. And not every artist is built for that. Some people do want to get their hand held, but guess what? You're going to get 70%, 80% of the pie taken away after you pay all your management and the label. I feel like vanity is definitely one of the big things that kind of stop people from going indie because they can't see themselves taking a loss. But guys, like I said, the industry is definitely changing. These labels have been downsizing and investing way more into going the tech route and changing their business models completely. That's why we aren't seeing as much music drop other than their really premier acts, and everyone else almost has to fend for themselves until they get hot. And then that's when the label goes full force with them. But yeah, man, times have changed, man. I definitely feel Drake is going full kamikaze. I don't think he even cares anymore, because anyone with a proper working brain would see this as a terrible move, because yeah, this pretty much is a career killer. And while he could go independent and, like I said, still make a lot of money, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to look the same, and his reputation is permanently tarnished. And if he ever does want to go major again, what label would take a chance on somebody that would actually, on somebody that would potentially sue you, you know? I feel like that would be a terrible investment. But definitely let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about Joe speaking on Drake? But definitely let me know what your thoughts are on Joe Budden speaking on Drake. This is probably one of the biggest L's in rap history and possibly one of the most un-hip-hop like moves ever, man. Suing over a diss is diabolical, fam. But before we wrap up the video, like I said earlier in the intro, Dennis Graham also responded to Joe's rant. So let's check that out next. Yeah, man. Basically saying, stand down now. Joe needs to back the F off this. Has nothing to do with him, period. ... So Dennis is definitely not amused, man. The story is definitely crazy, and I definitely think it's about to get crazier. So definitely let me know what you guys think, and definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. And guys, I want to thank you guys so much. Not only did the channel pass 1 million views a month quicker than the goal I had set, we did like 900 subs in the last 28 days. So I definitely want to let you guys know how grateful I am for making this channel a part of your day, and also all the dope conversations you guys add in the comments. So I definitely want to let you guys know I appreciate all the love and support, and I want to let you guys know that I am beyond grateful. So I hope you guys love the video, and I hope to see you guys soon. I don't know how you can possibly get a bigger L, but given how Drake's been moving, I kind of almost expect it.